Hi, welcome. This is Meet a Stranger, where we get to know our student body a little bit better, offer the opportunity for people that wouldn't typically be in the spotlight, an opportunity to meet somebody. So this is somebody I've never met before. It's going to be a stranger to me and a stranger to you. Stranger, could you please come out?
Hi,
Hi. What's your name?
my name is Esmeralda.
Esmeralda.
Yeah.
What are your preferred gender pronouns?
She and her.
She and her.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do that out. What's your major here?
Mathematics and computer science.
Mathematics and computer science.
Yeah.
Is this something that you realized early on in life that you liked mathematics and computer science?
Not at all. I hated math. I absolutely despised math when I was a kid. I just recently started, getting more into it. Honestly, I like computer science more, but there are a lot of like math requirements for the
Yeah.
major, so I kind of just have to be good at it and practice. I liked art as a kid. I've always been drawing. Um, Most of my youth has been like painting and drawing and being involved in the arts, which is I think what attracted me to this school because of kind of that environment and the influence that you get from kind of art majors. I kind of try to apply it to what I do in computer science. Um, like I like making video games and stuff, like visual things, and I think that's where like I incorporate my art. I like creating things with programming, and I feel like that's sort of like my art outlet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you really found like a place where you can bring together all of the things that you're interested in.
Yeah, and it like makes sense to me. Like I feel like I'm creating something out of nothing when I'm programming, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, creating something out of nothing. That's a really good way of putting it. And the structure in which you have to use to create that through computer programming, I think, is a really interesting, like, collection of, what they say, like left brain, right brain.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And purchase, do you feel like purchase is kind of that, like a place where you kind of can do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I like the fact that I'm able to meet with people that are outside of my major. Like I've made friends here that are not just in the sciences, but are also like dance majors, arts majors, etc. Like I don't know all the like dancers, like theater majors and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
they're it's really cool just to see what they do, because even though I like art stuff, I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned through them. Um, and I feel like it somewhat is influencing what I want to do with computer science.
Yeah, that's really cool. Maybe that's like a underappreciated thing of choosing colleges. The people that you're gonna wind up surrounding yourself with.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because, like, for next semester, next year in general, like, I'm planning to learn some new languages and start working with, like, more interactive interfaces. And a lot of my ideas that I'm realizing that a lot of my ideas are involving like arts things. Like I have a friend who likes to dance, even though she's a science major, but she likes to dance. And
Yeah.
I want, I just had an idea that I was talking about with one of my friends that, oh, we should, because I'm going to be taking physical computing, which is a lot of like interacting with the computer, kind of like
Yeah.
using sensors and stuff. So I want to like use
Interesting.
sensors to and like maybe put it on someone who dances, and that'll affect like maybe like the color values of something. And it was just like a very like random idea that I just got, so it's not very
Yeah.
well thought out right now.
Mhm.
But realizing that my idea is incorporating something that's in the arts.
No, that's really cool. I like that you bring that up because it's a very organic way of interacting with technology,
Yeah.
I'd say. Or maybe even, more organic than the ways we interact with it now.
Yeah.
And so, I was talking to somebody about this recently. How do you feel about the changes in technology when we've come into the 21st century now? even in our lifespan, technology has changed so much. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, like it's definitely like a huge part of our lives now. Like I remember when I was a kid, I did grow up with computers. Like my dad was studying computers when I was a kid, so there was always that element of like technology growing up. I just didn't think that I would be involved in it as much. Um, but I think it's crazy how how much technology is like a huge part of our lives. Like we need it for everything now. Like
Yeah.
we don't wake up without our alarms on our phones.
Yeah.
You know, we check the weather on our phones. I don't even watch TV anymore. Like everything's on my phone.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the phone is so much closer to you too,
And more convenient.
and always around you.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting thought. I feel like in the past we had this kind of more distant relationship with technology, where there was
Yeah.
an easier way to kind of walk away from it.
Yeah. I think there is some point where we might need to go back to that a little bit because
Yeah.
there is also negatives to it.
Mhm.
Like I also find, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when you're trying to do work and you just start picking up your phone without thinking twice and you're like on Instagram or Snapchat or something.
Yeah.
And before you know it, like an hour or 2 hours have gone by and you should have been doing work. So I think that,
Distraction.
yeah, that's definitely one of the huge like negative aspects of being involved with technology.
Do you think that technology will overtake us in that sense, where we will just become more and more distracted, or do you think that we'll be able to adapt?
I think that all depends on what you want to do, like the individual person wants to do. Because if you want that balance, you'll search for it, and you will discipline yourself and say, okay, well, I'm not going to allow myself to be on the phone for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and you gradually become less dependent on it. But if you don't really want to do that, then you're not going to.
Would you be opposed to like a technological device that is designed to make you less distracted somehow?
I think I've heard of something like that being developed. I think someone was trying to make like a sort of Pavlovian instrument, like a sort of bracelet that you wear that's supposed to like give you a small electric shock when you do something that's not good. Which it was like on
That's
Shark.
horrible.
Yeah, it was, you know, the Shark Tank
Yeah. Yeah.
show. It was on that show. Someone was trying to make that a reality. I think they're still working on it.
Yeah.
But I think that's sort of interesting. Although I don't know. I feel like it's kind of ironic to use technology to not use technology.
Totally, it is very ironic, and I'm afraid. Maybe afraid is the wrong word, but yeah, I think that's what will happen in the future. It'll be like technology that will help you deal with the other technology in your life, and thus, I think things will become less. Maybe we'll have to recontextualize what we call organic
Yeah.
in our lives.
I think maybe it's also the way we're treating the younger generation. I can see it, my cousins, they're like 7 and 8 years old and they've had iPads since they were like 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So they're very addicted to these things.
Yeah.
And the younger one more so than the older one, because at least if you tell her to put it down and go read a book, she'll do it. The other one is completely stuck on the iPad and doesn't want to do anything other than play on it or play video games. And
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of like how we choose to influence the youth and what we allow ourselves to be exposed to. Like I have Instagram and I have Snapchat, but I deactivated my Facebook like a really long time ago because that was the thing that I spent the most time on.
Yeah.
So I think it's a point where you have to realize how something is affecting you and make a change.
Yeah.
And like I guess in the future, if you ever decide to have kids, how you decide to raise them too can also affect how their relationship with technology will be in the future.
Yeah, that's really like pertinent, and with and I think maybe technology will move into a place where, because I think right now in its kind of infancy with iPads and things being in their infancy, media is just out there for you to constantly consume. So maybe as that becomes more of a problem for kids, maybe Apple will figure out some sort of way to make, to kind of lessen how much you can consume?
I don't know, because, I mean, Apple does profit off of our consumption of their products and the media, so
That's true.
I don't know how much they will be willing to contribute to that. I think might end up being more of an individual task.
Yeah, well, let's hope the kids of the future can handle that.
Yeah.
It's going to be really difficult.
Well, maybe if we can handle it, then they should be able to handle it as well.
So let me ask you, has there ever been a question that you've always wanted to be asked, like by an interviewer, or something that you wanted to be known about yourself?
I don't know. I usually talk a lot, so I don't know if there's a lot that people
So it's
don't
already
know
all
about
out there.
me. Yeah, like when I first meet people, like when we're getting to know each other, like I'm always like, oh yeah, like I speak Chinese, I lived in China for 9 months, like that's a thing about me, and I always start, off with that, because I feel like it's a good conversation starter. Yeah, I speak Chinese.
Yeah, it's a good conversation. It's like, go on
Yeah,
about
no,
your time in China.
Yeah, my senior year of high school, I went to Beijing, and I lived there for 9 months with a host family, and I traveled to like other provinces, like I went to Inner Mongolia and Gansu, Shanxi, and Yunnan province, and it was just a really awesome experience overall. And I think I always say that because like people always say they want to study abroad, and the first thing I say is do it, because that's the only way like you're able to expose yourself to like the world,
Yeah. And how do you feel about exposing yourself to the world? So like, what does that benefit? How does that benefit us?
Well, I think you get new perspectives from not only different cultures but different people. I think it's really important to challenge your own ideas versus other people's ideas, because you might be able to influence someone might be able to influence you, and that's how you grow as a person. And I think you shouldn't be afraid of jumping into the deep end of the pool. Or even if you are afraid, like still jump in anyway.
Yeah.
Because I studied Mandarin for 3 years in high school before going. And when I went, I thought that I was going to be okay. And like the first 2 or 3 months that I was there, I had no idea what anyone was saying, because they spoke so fast and I was so scared and I just wanted to go home. But after those few months passed, I was just like, talking with the locals and, adventuring around Beijing, and it was no problem at all. And
Yeah,
I was like,
I understand.
yeah, I was like, why was I worried?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
Oh,
but
no,
we do
sorry.
have to end here.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
sorry, so it's time for us to turn around and
Okay.
meet each other.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Elliot.
Nice, Esmeralda.
Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been Meet a Stranger. This is Esmeralda. If you see her around campus, don't be afraid to say hello. Thank you.